Asia is a fascinating continent, full of civilizations and peoples with ancient and rich histories. Among these many cultures, the people of the Philippines stand out for their diversity and unique heritage. But have you ever wondered if there is any biblical mention of the origins of these people? Does the Bible talk about the origin of Filipinos? In this video, we will explore the possible biblical connections with the people of the Philippines, uncovering curiosities and mysteries that involve this nation and the scriptures. This is a highly requested video in our series that explores the origins of all peoples according to the Bible. The Philippines, officially known as the Republic of the Philippines, is an archipelagic country located in Southeast Asia, situated in the western Pacific Ocean. The country is composed of 7,641 islands, covering a total area of 300,000 square kilometers. These islands are generally divided into three main geographical regions from north to south: Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The Philippines borders the South China Sea to the west, the Philippine Sea to the east, and the Celebes Sea to the south. The country shares maritime borders with Taiwan to the north, Japan to the northeast, Palau to the east and southeast, Indonesia to the south, Malaysia to the southwest, Vietnam to the west, and China to the northwest. With a diverse population in terms of ethnicities and cultures, the Philippines is the 12th most populous country in the world. The capital is Manila, while Quezon City is the most populous city, both located in the Manila metropolitan area. The Negritos were the first inhabitants of the Philippines, followed by waves of Austronesian peoples. Among these early peoples, we find biblical descendants of Ham, Noah's son, through some of their tribes. The arrival and influence of animism, Hinduism with Buddhist elements, and Islam led to the establishment of island kingdoms governed by datus, rajas, and sultans. Extensive foreign trade with empires such as the later Tang and Song also brought Chinese immigrants who gradually settled in the archipelago and mixed with the local population over the centuries. The arrival of Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer leading an expedition for Castile, marked the beginning of Spanish colonization. In 1543, the Spanish explorer Ruy López de Villalobos named the archipelago Las Islas Filipinas in honor of King Philip II of Castile. Spanish colonization through New Spain began in 1565 and brought the Philippines under the rule of the Crown of Castile as part of the Spanish Empire for over 300 years. During this period, Catholic Christianity became the predominant religion, and Manila emerged as the western center of trans-Pacific trade. The Philippine Revolution began in 1896, coinciding with the Spanish-American War of 1898. After Spain's defeat, the territory was ceded to the United States, and the Filipino revolutionaries declared the First Philippine Republic. The subsequent Philippine-American War ended with the United States taking control of the territory. This control lasted until the Japanese invasion during World War II. After the islands were recaptured by the United States, the Philippines gained independence in 1946. The country experienced a tumultuous period with democracy, including the overthrow of a decades-long dictatorship through a peaceful revolution. Speaking a bit about the etymology of the name Philippines. During his 1542 expedition, Spanish explorer Ruy López de Villalobos named the islands of Leyte and Samar as Filipinas in honor of the Prince of Asturias, who later became Philip II of Castile. Over time, the name Las Islas Filipinas came to designate the Spanish possessions in the archipelago. Before this, the Spanish used other names to refer to the islands in the region, such as Islas del Poniente, Western Islands, Islas del Oriente, Eastern Islands, and San Lázaro, Islands of St. Lazarus, the name given by Ferdinand Magellan. During the Philippine Revolution, the Malolos Congress proclaimed the Philippine Republic the Republic of the Philippines. The American colonial authorities referred to the country as the Philippine Islands, a translation of the Spanish name. With the Philippine Autonomy Act and the Jones Act, the United States began to adopt the name Philippines. The official title, Republic of the Philippines, was established in the 1935 Constitution as the name of the future independent state and has been maintained in all subsequent constitutional revisions. The ethnic diversity in the Philippines is remarkable, influenced by both external factors and the archipelago's fragmented geography. According to the 2020 census, the largest ethnic groups in the country are the Tagalog, 26%, Visayan, excluding Cebuano, Ilonggo, and Waray, 14.3%, Ilocano, 8%, Cebuano, 8%, Ilonggo, 7.9%, Bicolano, 6.5%, and Waray, 3.8%. In addition to these, the country is home to 110 indigenous ethno-linguistic groups, totaling a population of 15.56% in 2020. Among these indigenous groups are the Igorot, Lumad, Mangyan, and the indigenous peoples of Palawan. The Negritos are considered some of the earliest inhabitants of the Philippines. This aboriginal minority group of Australoid descent is a remnant of the earliest human migrations from Africa to Australia and was later displaced by other waves of migration. Ethnic Filipinos belong to several Southeast Asian ethnic groups, classified linguistically as Austronesians, speaking Malayo-Polynesian languages. Although the exact origin of the Austronesian population is uncertain, it is believed that relatives of the Taiwanese Aborigines brought their languages and intermixed with the local populations. The Lumad and Bajau ethnic groups have ancestral affinities with Austroasiatic-speaking peoples such as the Khmer and Mon of mainland Southeast Asia. Additionally, there is evidence of an expansion from eastern Indonesia and Papua New Guinea into Mindanao, detected in groups like the Butuanan and in the Sangar language. Immigrants arrived in the Philippines from other parts of the Spanish Empire, especially from Spanish America. A 2016 National Geographic study revealed that the inhabitants of the Philippine archipelago have a genetic composition with the following percentages: 53% Southeast Asian and Oceanian, 36% East Asian, 5% Southern European, 3% South Asian, and 2% Native American from Latin America. Descendants of mixed couples are known as mestizos or tisoy. During the Spanish colonial period, these mestizos were primarily composed of Chinese mestizos, mestizos de sangre, Spanish mestizos, mestizos de español, and their mixtures, tornatras. Today, Chinese Filipinos are well integrated into Filipino society. Most of them are descendants of immigrants from Fujian in the early 20th century. During the American colonial era, it was estimated that there were about 1.35 million pure ethnic Chinese in the Philippines, while approximately 22.8 million Filipinos, about 20% of the population, had some Chinese ancestry, whether from pre-colonial, colonial, or 20th century migrants. During the Spanish colonial period, mestizo Filipinos represented a moderate proportion of the tax-paying population, about 5%. In comparison, a smaller proportion of the population, approximately 2.33%, were Mexican Filipinos. In 2023, nearly 300,000 American citizens lived in the country, and it is estimated that up to 250,000 Amerasians descendants of Americans and Filipinos live in cities like Angeles, Manila, and Olongapo. Other significant non-indigenous minorities include Indians and Arabs. Japanese Filipinos, in turn, include descendants of Christian fugitives, Kirishitan, who escaped persecution under Shogun Tokugawa Ieyasu. Filipino and English are the official languages of the country. Filipino, a standardized version of Tagalog, is primarily spoken in the Manila metropolitan area. Both Filipino and English are used in government, education, printed and broadcast media, as well as in business, usually accompanied by a third local language. Code switching between English and other local languages, especially Tagalog, is common. The Philippine Constitution allows for the optional teaching of Spanish and Arabic. Although the use of Spanish, which was a lingua franca in the late 19th century, has decreased, many Spanish loanwords are still found in Philippine languages. The biblical origins of the peoples of the Philippines can be traced back to the descendants of Japheth, one of the three sons of Noah. According to biblical genealogies, Japheth is considered the progenitor of various nations and peoples across Europe and Asia. Among his descendants is Javan, whose son Tarshish is particularly significant in the context of Filipino ancestry. Tarshish, often associated with distant lands rich in trade and resources, is considered the ancestral patriarch not only of the Filipino people, but also of several other Asian and Indigenous groups across the Americas and Siberia. The connection to Tarshish suggests that the early ancestors of the Filipinos were part of the widespread dispersal of Japheth's descendants, who migrated across vast regions, eventually settling in various parts of Asia, including the archipelago that would become the Philippines. In addition to their connection to Japheth, Filipinos also have an ancestral link to Ham, another son of Noah. Ham's descendants are traditionally associated with African and some Asian populations, known for their darker skin tones. This dual ancestry, from both Japheth and Ham, indicates a complex and diverse lineage for the Filipino people. The physical characteristics commonly observed among Filipinos, such as almond-shaped eyes, dark straight hair, and a range of skin tones from light brown to darker shades, reflect this blended heritage. The almond-shaped eyes and other features align with the Asian lineage from Tarshish, while the varied skin tones suggest an influence from Hamitic tribes. The story of Tarshish as an ancestor to the Filipino people underscores the idea that the population of the Philippines is the result of a rich tapestry of migrations and intermingling of different peoples over millennia. While Tarshish is recognized as one of the earliest ancestors, it is important to acknowledge that the ancestry of Filipinos is not singular, but rather a mosaic of influences from various lineages. This diverse ancestry highlights the deep historical connections of the Filipino people to broader human migrations and the blending of cultures and ethnicities over time. In summary, the origins of the Filipino people, as traced through the lineages of Japheth and Ham, reveal a history of migration, settlement, and cultural exchange that has shaped the unique and diverse identity of the Philippines today. This blend of ancestries is a testament to the complexity of human history and the interwoven stories that connect different peoples across the globe. If you enjoyed learning about the origins of the Filipino people, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the biblical origins of cultures around the world. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.